on Worst to First. It's week 7 of the NFL season. Rolling along, more bye week teams than there's been so far. So we only got 13 games that we're going to cover at the end of the show, the back half. Picks and predictions with Bass Daddy, Matt, and myself as usual. And also, per usual, we will start with a week 6 recap, our Monday coaches meeting special that you'll find here only at W2F. And without further ado, Matt Stewart, you're kicking us off. You're up at the podium. You have the responsibility to get this team focused for what's almost the second half of the season. What are you preaching to us today, man?
Absolutely. Gentlemen, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and a pleasure to be here. I want to thank you for your time, your questions, and your energy. Like you said, Brian, we're gearing up for the second half of the season. Basically, this is time to lock in. The first half, it was that's one thing, right? That's one situation. But now things are getting real. You know what? September in the past, first half of October in the past. It's time to refocus and get our nose to the grindstone and get to the promised land. And that's what I'm going to lead you guys into right now. Guys, I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of my take last week. And I don't know if anyone that listening today listened to last week's episode, but if they did, I was on one. I was on a tear. I was crushing it per usual as an inspirational, once in a generational talent, as a media head. I nailed it. Takes left and right. I were hitting out of the park, and you guys were there to witness that as well. Let me get to it. Let me get right to it, guys. Are we sure Brock Purdy and the 49ers are as real as we thought they were, or at least you guys thought they were? What do we think?
I think it confirmed what I already kind of thought about that team, which is, they have the perfect puzzle together when the whole team, the whole offense is healthy. But you take one piece out and it all kind of gets wobbly, perhaps collapses altogether. And in the case of Sunday, by the end of the game, not only do they play without Deebo Samuel, but they lose McCaffrey. And you see, and let's be fair to the Browns defense, right now it's probably the best in the NFL. If you go by the numbers, it is. But you take players out like Deebo and McCaffrey, and Brock Purdy starts to show those warts that made him the last pick in his draft. Still a good player, still probably the best quarterback I've seen on that Shanahan team since he arrived in San Fran. Just his ability to make plays when he has to. It's different than what like Garoppolo did, or the turds that have kind of had to fill in for Garoppolo when he was injured. But make no mistake, if McCaffrey, if Deebo, really any of those guys or a combination are out as the season goes on, it's going to spell trouble. And I think it's going to knock them down a peg to where a Detroit or a Philadelphia, maybe even a Dallas on the right night, could get by them.
I agree. And let's just say, like, the 49ers were, a missed field goal away from winning this game. But I will say this too. Against that Browns defense, very few quarterbacks have been able to throw against that defense this season and beat the Browns. Kenny Pickett being one of them. So you got a quarterback like Brock Purdy, you can't expect him to win games like that. You got Kenny Pickett under center, you can expect it.
Oh, wow.
Pickett didn't have McCaffrey. He didn't have Deebo. He didn't have Kittle. He didn't have Trent Williams at left tackle. He didn't have Shanahan calling his plays. But
are you telling me that the Pittsburgh Steelers have no offensive weapons?
They have offensive weapons, but they don't have the best running back in the NFL. They don't have Ayuk. They don't have Deebo. They don't have Kittle. Kittle's a top 3 tight end. We don't have that.
Yeah, but
Kyle Shanahan is arguably the best offensive mind in the game.
All right, you're just getting
my opinion.
I was entertaining what you were saying there for a second, but now you're getting wild with it. What is that based on?
The offense he runs. He runs a great offense.
What's so great about it, though? Like, that's what I need to know, I feel like. Like, that's
averaging over 30 points a game with a quarterback that had no business starting in the NFL.
I don't know. I think for some reason, I don't know what it is. It's like this media bias. It's like everyone's like, oh, Kyle Shanahan and the Niners, they're always so great. It's like,
It's
I
one week.
get no, I know, I understand that. But I mean, like, what so exceptional have they done in the long term? Like, yeah, yeah, maybe they're solid in the regular season a lot of times, but it's like, it's a plug and play offense. Like I've said, like, I guess you get credit for that, I guess, maybe. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, whoever he has is like, they're going to be about the same. Maybe if that's the argument you want to take, okay, I can entertain that possibly, but I think that's just it's a little overblown if you're asking
If
me.
it's a okay, if it's a plug and play offense, what do you mean by that?
Like you can pick in the pieces in there, throw them in there. Like Brock Kenny
Oh,
Pickett would look good there. That's what I'm saying.
okay. So what is that saying about Shanahan as an offensive play caller? Saying he's pretty good then. If anybody
Okay,
can get in there and
if Kenny Pickett looks good, yeah, okay, all right, you won, you win this argument, no doubt about it. But I don't know, man. I don't
it
know.
is, I agree with you about a plug and play offense. I agree. I
Okay,
think that you take Geno Smith and put him in that offense. I think he plays great. But with that being said, I think that Shanahan's a great offensive mind and a great play caller. They had a rough week this week against a rough defensive front. They had some injuries, whatever. All teams are going to have those weeks. But when it comes down to it, I think that I still think they're probably the top team in the NFC.
well, I mean, I can't argue too much on that, but I just don't think the NFC's that strong. But like, the thing is, like, I think for me, that gets me hold up on Shanahan is he doesn't really get it done a lot of times when it matters. And I'm not saying that he hasn't had big moments or anything like that, but it feels like it always slips between his fingers. You know what I'm saying? Like he was. I don't need to bring up Atlanta. I don't need to bring up San Francisco, Super Bowls, but
He's
you
got
know
to
what
win
I'm
the big
saying?
games.
Exactly. So it's like that. That I think is what I need for like greatest offensive mind. I need that to be part of it. You know what I mean?
But Matt, think about it this way, and I'm not a major Shanahan truther. I'm not going to say he is the best coach in the league by any stretch, but you got to ask yourself how many teams look at what the 49ers have done for the last several years. How many teams would love to have that run? I know it hasn't gotten a Super Bowl yet, but there aren't many franchises that wouldn't trade places with kind of the way they've put it together, and he is the leader of that. I don't know. It may be a little hypercritical on your part. I think you are a little overreactionary, which actually plays right into my Monday coaches meeting. And I saw a headline. It was on NFL on CBS, their website, and it said something to the effect of, is any team any that good this year? Like, or is just everybody kind of okay? And I thought that was kind of funny because we've been having this same conversation for 5 years. And every year it's the same. Every year we say, well, there's no great team. There's no elite teams. And at some point, it's the normal for a reason. The league parity is king. And it's the way Goodell wants it. It's the way anybody who's got to do with the bottom line wants it. In a lot of ways, fans, it's nice to have that every single game. Oh, they might lose. Doesn't matter who you are. And so I think it's like when people say that, I think it's almost annoying at this point. You should know better by now. In the NFL, it is any given Sunday. You know that. If you're a fan of a team, you've been topped off on 2, 3, 4 times when you didn't expect it in the last calendar year. It's just part of the deal. And just because the 49ers lost to the Browns, just because the Eagles lost to the Jets, does not mean their season's over. It doesn't mean that they're mediocre. You're still going to have to go through those teams come playoff time, and it's not going to be easy. Whoever ends up beating the Eagles or the 49ers or the Bengals, Chiefs, Bills, etc., it's not going to be easy to do it, but you still got to do it when the time comes. And one game in October just doesn't do it for me. You move on, you move forward, and you see what happens. But overreactionary on your part, Matt. You've drank the Kool-Aid on this one. You sound like Mike Florio almost.
You sound like Mike Florio almost. That's what I gotta say. He seems like the guy like Kyle Shanahan. You're right. You're right, Sims. Your best friend is so good. That feels like what you guys are coming from. And no, I'm not overreactionary. I don't expect them to be great every week. I'm just like, can we pump the brakes on that a little bit? You know what I'm saying? Like that's all I'm saying.
Pump the brakes on what again? What's this? The general.
Just Kyle Shanahan being the greatest offensive mind to ever step on
I
a football
didn't say
field.
he was the greatest. I said he's one of the greatest in the game, and he is one of the greatest.
Are we talking about this current season? What are we talking? Like
Name
just in
3 better
general?
offensive play callers off the top of your head right now.
Name what?
3 better offensive coordinators,
Well,
offensive play callers right now.
I don't keep a power ranking on my head.
I'm just-
Shoot. Okay,
He's top 3.
I'll take Reed McDaniels, which I know he's comes off the Shanahan tree, but I feel like he's doing it better. And then
McDaniel.
no,
For a
I mean
second,
the
I thought you
Raiders.
were taking
No.
McDaniels. Which,
Hey, he
Yeah,
could be in
Josh
the running.
McDaniels.
If you give Josh McDaniels the that roster, you know, maybe, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
right.
So I don't know. I would probably even take like somebody like Dayball's pushing it. I know he's got a terrible offense in New York right now, but yeah, man, yeah, give him that offense. He's gonna crush.
They 49ers need to get the ball on the phone and ship Shanahan out of town.
I'm just saying. I think he does a better job of it. Better management.
Okay.
Fast Daddy, who are you doing for your MCM?
MCM, I don't think Baltimore is a great team. I really don't think they're very good. I think the offensive changes that they've made are showing. And I thought it was crazy that Baltimore's favored this week, but Baltimore electing not to take a bye after this London trip, I just found it astounding. Coming
They
back,
elected not to?
yes,
That's odd.
following a game overseas. Instead, they're going to come straight back and play Detroit. So, I guess I'm just trying to see what the fuck Harbaugh's think.
That is interesting. It's like, did they give him the option for like a late season buy, and that's what he took, or
I'm assuming maybe.
Yeah.
But he had an option to take a bye. I guess if you play overseas, they give you an option with a bye to follow that, or maybe to take it like, maybe later in the year. But I just thought that, I don't know, I thought maybe they could use that because I think right now they're kind of playing like doggy shit, really. And
they are. Maybe it's a little bias leaking out because that was a team that I left off of my preseason playoff bracket. But when I hear people say stuff like, Baltimore is a sneaky Super Bowl contender, I just really don't take it seriously at all. And it's no disrespect. It's just they don't move me in any sort of way. I've never watched them this year and thought like they were even really scratching the surface. And again, that might just be a bias that I'm not seeing through. But I think the offense is going to be inconsistent all year long. And the defense, you look at the schedule they've played, they haven't really locked up a whole lot with an offense of even Detroit's caliber, who might be able to poke some holes in that front, that secondary that other teams haven't. We'll see, though, on the status of those running backs the Lions have. Big game there, for sure. And without spoiling my pick, I think it's, I'm kind of showing you where I lean. Tough spot coming off of London. And I didn't put that together until Bass Daddy, your analysis closed that box for me. That's a big disadvantage in my mind for Harbaugh.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I wasn't aware of this as well. Especially considering I know the Baltimore that they went over early. They were there for practically like a week or so, right? Like to get
had a
acclimated.
vacation.
Yeah, so that because at first I was like, well, maybe they were just there for a couple days and they're like, oh, we'll be fine, and we'll rub it off. But no,
Yeah.
clearly not the case. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
All right, boys. If nothing else is to be touched on, we've got our pick segment coming up, our previews, game by game, one by one. And we start with another Amazon special. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars red hot, 4-2 on a 3-game win streak. They are a 1-point underdog going to the Superdome to play the Saints. We're 3-3, tied for the division lead right now in the NFC South. The over/under 39.5. Trevor Lawrence, he's still somewhat to be determined as far as his status, but it looks like he's going to gut it out and play off that knee sprain. Matt, can the Jaguars extend what's been a really impressive win streak, or does this knee injury possibly catch a snag?
How serious are they thinking it is? Obviously, it's not like crazy serious, right? If he plays, or is he just going to be totally immobilized back there?
I mean, if
He's going to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah, they've got a 12th man to wheel him around. If he's thinking he's going to play on a short week, I'm going to guess it's pretty minor. But you never know, I guess. But it's Thursday night, so.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. Jacksonville's coming off, the couple London games. Who they play last week? I'm totally blanking. That was actually back in the States, wasn't it? No. I mean last Sunday, or were they on a bye week? Did they have a bye?
Who?
Jacksonville.
No, they played
the Colts.
That's right. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, they're on a little string here. They're on tear. I like what they're doing. They're kind of looking like that team that people expected them to be at the beginning of the season. And the thing is, New Orleans has been incredibly uninspiring. Things just aren't clicking quite yet with Derek Carr and old DA down there, down south, and the Big Easy. And I don't expect them to have any more success with that either. So I'm going to take Jacksonville to win this game 29-20. And I'll probably pick them even if he doesn't play, maybe.
I'm right there with you. I feel the same whether he fucking plays or not. I have no hope in New Orleans. Alvin Kamara, expect him to have 130 yards. But I'm still taking Jacksonville 24-20.
And guys, this is one of the harder ones to pick this week. Believe it or not, though, I'm going with New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
Not even the upset if you go by the spread, which is somewhat shocking in itself. But I got Saints 23, Jags 17. Knee injury or not, that offense for the Jaguars just still not quite clicking on all cylinders. And we know the Saints defense on their best day is really, really good. And I don't think they have to be that great to hold the Jags to 17. But I think they will be. It'll be at home. They don't have to travel on the short week. Crowd will be total chaos. And it's not a must-win game by any means, but I think it might feel that way in the moment. They'll play with that type of energy. The Saints and Derek Carr, man, I know he's playing hurt a little bit, but he's just got to be better than he was Sunday. There's no way he can't be, and I think that's why they win.
Do you think Calvin Ridley is going to be tempted to put money on the Jags, them being the underdog and all?
Oh, he's damn sure going to be tempted, but
for sure,
even he ain't that stupid.
We'll see.
All right, we go to Sunday, opening up the noon round of games, staying in the NFC South. Tampa Bay at home again. They are a 2.5-point favorite against the Falcons. The over/under 38.5. And in this one, guys, I think this has fireworks potential. Something about the Bucs and Falcons, even when Brady was playing in Tampa, it seemed like this game always had a little bit of excitement, a little pizzazz to it. And I'll be damned if that's going to change now that number 6 is firing rockets. Bake Mayfield. I think Tampa wins, though, 27-24. The Falcons reeling right now with a quarterback who's playing like total asshole. 3 interceptions last Sunday for Desmond Ridder. The elephant in the room is number 9, and if he doesn't play better Sunday, he may not finish the game, and I don't mean because of injury. So, yeah, guys, I think it's a huge spot. Bucs win, stay in that hunt, and the Falcons maybe start to fade a little bit just with the uncertainty at quarterback.
I'm right there with you. I went ahead and I took Tampa Bay. Ritter's his shitty ass. He hasn't won a game on the road yet this season, and this won't be a game he wins on the road. I think offensively, I expect Mayfield to played like dog shit last week. I expect him to come out and play a little better. But I still have it a close game. Tampa Bay wins 23-21.
Do you guys by chance know who the backup in Atlanta is?
Yes.
It's
I'm
not
asking.
Mariota.
You don't know. It's Heineke. Taylor
Oh,
Heineke.
Heineke. What are we waiting on? And that's right. Now that you say that, of course. Yeah. What are we doing? Pull the trigger. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I was kind of surprised when the Commanders went away from Heineke. Truthfully,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
thought he's some all-star talent, but Hal over him. I don't know.
He's got that spunk, or as the big old heads like to say, he's got that moxie about him. You know what I mean? Like, maybe not the most skilled or talented guy, but he's just got that edge to him, that chip on the shoulder that's going to get the job done, and that's what Atlanta needs. So maybe if they put him in the game, they're going to win. If they do not, they're going to lose. I have Tampa Bay winning this game 24-22.
Yeah, I don't know how Arthur Smith. I mean, how long can you let the punchline be? Oh, your offense doesn't know how to use Kyle Pitts. You don't know how to use Drake London. Barely know how to use Bijan Robinson. It's embarrassing. And who's going to be the scapegoat? If you keep playing Ritter, I mean, it's kind of you, Arthur. At least half and half. He needs to pull the plug if things don't get better Sunday.
Dude, that's like a division contending team in my opinion with Heineke at quarterback. I feel like with Ritter, you don't take them seriously, but with Heineke, you're like, maybe,
And the division is just
Yeah.
a cakewalk.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're playing their toughest competition in my opinion on Sunday. So I mean, throw them in there, get that win. Who knows?
True.
Going back to a place we kind of started at, Baltimore. They host the Lions. Might be America's game of the week. I'm not sure. It's definitely one of the more appealing on paper. The over-under is 42. And guys, the Ravens are a 3-point favorite at home, which I don't get this one. I don't know. I'm a little worried on the sharp square side of what this means. Matt, I would be shocked if you're taking Baltimore, but I guess are you?
I don't know. They must be giving some, I don't really know, massive advantage to the home team, I guess, which I thought wasn't worth as much these days, but apparently it is in this case. I don't know. I don't really love Baltimore, and I know Bass Daddy piggybacking on what he said earlier in the show. They're coming back from London. They were there for a week. That's going to be tough to get acclimated to. Detroit, they're looking good. I mean, people are super high on them. I've been high on them all season. They were my early Super Bowl pick for the NFC, and they might be living up to that. And I guess time will only tell. But I do have them winning this game regardless, 30-24. I just don't love Baltimore. That offense, it's all just kind of mid. Like they're not bad, but they're like, we're like, yeah.
Yeah, and while I did struggle a little bit, because again, Vegas and that spread, it gets in your head a little, I still stuck with the Lions, and here's why. I've tried to snipe the Lions a couple times this year, thinking, no, they'll fall into their same old ways. And other than that game against the Seahawks, they really just haven't. They've proven that they turned a new leaf. And one thing you can count on with a Dan Campbell team right now is they're going to show up and they're going to compete. You're not going to blow them out by any means. I don't think Baltimore can blow anybody out 1 through 32, but so you're going to be in a tough, tight game at best. And so far this year, the Lions have showed that they're comfortable with that. Jared Goff, he's making clutch throws at the end of games. They're able to run clock out with the ground game, and David Montgomery, I think, is probably going to be out, it sounds like, but maybe you get Gibbs back. I don't really care because I think the offensive line is what sets it up really for success. And the way I see this one shaking out, Lamar, whether he's the last one with the ball or he gets a drive, with 5 minutes to go, I think he's going to come up short, and the Lions are going to win at 20-17.
Yeah, I hear you. Anytime there's a game in Baltimore, regardless of what time of the year it is, I always like to check the future forecast. Because at M&T Bank Stadium, if it's going to be a rainy day there, the rain's going to be falling, more times than not, I'm going to side with Baltimore in the rushing attack. Looking at the forecast right now, it's showing a lot of rain Friday and Saturday, and it's just showing Sunday to be real windy. So, but I still think that I think they contain Lamar to a certain extent on the edge. And I think Gibbs might be okay to go. But like you said, regardless, their offensive line, they're going to be okay. Give me Detroit 28, Baltimore 24.
Ryan, I don't know if you know this or not. The only guy that I know of that successfully projected that Detroit fallback downfall, Sky.
What do you mean downfall?
That Seattle game, that Seattle loss. I was like, they're going to lose this game all day, 8 days a week. It just felt like a time.
I felt like I picked them to lose that game too, but maybe not.
I don't know. We'd have to review.
They did.
Have to go back into the archives.
Yeah. Okay, we switch it over now to an NFC battle. NFC beast, to be certain. The Commanders are going to MetLife to take on the Giants. And this is a game that preseason you'd say, probably going to be a pretty decent watch. Big playoff implications. Not so much now. The over-under is 39.5. Commanders favored by 2 on the road. And not sure on Daniel Jones, but does it really matter? Probably not. I'll let that just lead into what I'm about to say, and that is Washington's going to win, clearly. They, I think, caught a little fire, maybe sparked it in Atlanta, because I didn't expect them to do what they did to the Falcons. And it was really impressive. I do worry because they're very inconsistent. One week they do that, the next week they lose to a Denver Broncos type team. It's the type of thing they're capable of doing. But the Giants, to me, really expended a lot of energy and effort to hang with Buffalo Sunday night. And I don't think they're going to turn around and get up in the same fashion come Sunday at noon. So Washington 27, Giants 21, and the Commanders continue to fight for that 7th and 6th seed in the NFC.
I agree. The Commanders do that. And Matt, I'm going to tell you this right now. We were talking about offensive coordinators earlier. Eric Bieniemy, he's going to outcoach the ball.
I was about to say that. I was like, this is your third guy, right? This is my actual third guy, Bieniemy. Now,
this guy should be a head coach somewhere. I don't know. He must have got offered a huge, significant amount of money, more than Kansas City was offering him. I mean, to go, I don't know why he's not a head coach somewhere. Why is he an offensive coordinator for a shithole? I don't get that. Why he would leave Kansas City to go there and do the same job, I don't fucking know. But anyways, I like what you said about Washington getting that win on the road at Mercedes-Benz. Whether Daniel Jones, I think he's going to play, but it really don't fucking matter. Washington jizzes all over the Giants' face masks. They need to wear visors. New York Giants need to have visors on them face masks this week to protect them from all the jizz. Washington wins this game 24-20.
Wow. I love it. And Bass, you stole the words right out of my mouth. I think Bieniemy, that's my third guy, I would say. And to speak on why he went there, Brian, maybe you know more about this. I heard essentially, he wasn't getting that head coaching slot because people were giving too much credit to Andy, didn't know what was who. And so he had to go to Washington. I think he got paid a little bit more to prove himself. So, and he's doing that so far. I mean, he's making Sam Howell quality. They're putting points up, and I think they're going to continue to do so on Sunday. I have Washington winning 29-17, jizzing off.
It's a big game for, a Ron Rivera. He can't afford to lose a ball game like this. Not when you're trying to get into the playoffs, unlike last year. And when people say things like, oh, well, maybe they're going to fire Rivera and then bump Bieniemy into his spot. I don't see that. I don't think that makes any sense. You got a new owner. If he was going to fire Rivera, I think he would just clean house entirely. But you lose a game like this, it might become a conversation worth having.
Yeah, no, 100%. That'd be very interesting. That may benefit them in the long run because, like, I can see it right now. It's coming down to the end of the season. The Commanders, they're on a late drive in a game. And, Ron, he's not going to take that gamble like that name that he's come to earn. He's just not going to do it. He's going to kick a field goal. He's going to punt it away. Something dumb. And they're not going to get the ball back. And that's it. You know what I mean? That's what's going to happen. So maybe that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if that happened for them.
I could see the owner coming down week 10 at halftime to the sideline, then just asking Rivera for his headset. Say you're done. Come on, and having him escorted out of the stadium. and they just hand the headset over to Bieniemy and they say, "Hey, you're our head coach, sir." Yeah, I could see that happening too. Not even at the end of a first quarter, not just in the middle of second quarter. 10 minutes to go until half. Just the owner just walking up, hey, gets it off,
Every
and
minute
just
counts. Every play
exactly
counts.
That would be a heck of like a card to play, to get the team juiced up. I mean, it's going to confuse some people and upset them, but the other ones will be like, yeah, let's get behind this guy and get juiced up for a game. You know what I mean?
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Better yet, they take the headset and hand it to Del Rio and revive the career of Jack Del Rio in what would be a really confusing move. But
JDR's out in Washington. I didn't even know this.
yeah, come on. He's been the DC for a good four or so years now. And yeah,
Wow.
he got fined and suspended for the dust up comments. Don't you remember that?
The what comments?
The dust up comments about the marching on the White House or the Capitol and all that.
Oh, I didn't realize he was with Washington at that point. I just always picture him. He's always like, maybe he's doing some custodial work down there in Jacksonville these days. I don't know. Maybe
Happy Gilmore
parking cars out there in Las Vegas. I don't know. I didn't realize he was still DCing though. That's on me. I should be better as a professional. I got to be better than that. But yeah, I like it. JDR. Maybe he's the guy.
Hey, one of you guys, tell me if the Rams and the Commies play this year, because if they do, that game's going to be huge in the playoff hunt.
Let me find out.
East battle, the Buffalo Bills. The 4-2 Buffalo Bills go to New England, and there's almost nowhere else you'd rather play right now if you're an NFL team than at Foxborough, where the Patriots are a 9-point underdog. The over-under 41.5. Bass Daddy, I know the Bills looked sloppy last week. Do they bounce back and kind of normalize, or is this a sign of things to come?
They bounce back. And if you asked me the score of this game a couple weeks ago, I'd tell you that Buffalo was going to win this game 41-10. Still a little confused with Belichick and the Patriots at this point. But with it being a divisional matchup, it's in New England. I still have Buffalo winning, but not by a large margin. Buffalo 26, New England 21. And that's even, I don't even know if New England scores 21 points. Buffalo does have a tough defense, but I still haven't given up completely on Belichick yet. I still have him losing, but not getting blown out per usual.
See, I actually think that, and historically, it seems like Josh Allen has been successful against Belichick's defenses in the last 2-3 years. Look, we know the book on Bill. He's going to do whatever he's got to do to take Diggs away. And I actually think that plays into Buffalo's favor. Because if you'll think to Sunday night, Diggs was targeted 16 times. And yeah, 10 of them were completed. But when you get tunnel vision on a guy like that, doesn't always mean your offense is going to be better for it. And so if Bill does what he normally does and kind of makes Josh look elsewhere, I think he'll find a lot of open receivers, and it'll keep the offense running even smoother. And the Bills' defense, it's beat up, we know, but come on now. They're facing as poor of a scoring unit as you can come across with Mac Jones, who, I mean, at this point is just playing flaccid at all times. And in that respect, I've got Buffalo winning at 31-14. And it goes to show again that it's a week-to-week league, a matchup-driven league, where you can't go off the 14-9 game and assume that that's what the Bills are. It's not.
Guys, little fun fact for you. I don't know if you've heard this or not. Bill Belichick is like 7 games or so from losing the most games in NFL history. Is that wild?
It damn sure is when you consider he didn't lose many games there for about a 20-year stretch.
Yeah.
Like how does obviously we probably weren't super cognitive of that period before. I don't know how bad he must have been. Must have been terrible.
No. It's not even that, Matt. Think about that. I mean, how many NFL head coaches coach for 30 years?
This is true. I mean, no doubt. I mean,
most guys are out within 5, if not 3.
Yeah. Like that's also a great point to it. Like obviously you have to be exceptional to have the opportunity to lose that many games.
Jeff
But
Fisher.
yeah, good old fish. The thing is, like, I don't know, like, do you think Kraft is going to start blaming Belichick for this sort of thing? I mean, maybe is he going to get that title and then they're going to like, they're going to spaz out a little bit, like, man, maybe we should get rid of this guy. Granted, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's obviously not good, but it's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's interesting to
I
think about.
think Kraft at the end of the year or whatever, if he wants to start it this week, I say go for it. He should threaten Belichick's job and make in order for him to keep the job, he has to perform certain like tasks that are related to his brand. So he's got to eat like an entire jar of Kraft mayonnaise by the spoon to keep his job for another month, or mustard bottle, whatever, cheese, nasty ass unprepared cheese.
Are you talking Kraft singles? Because that's blasphemy if you're saying that. That's
Correct.
nasty.
You don't want to eat that by itself.
I mean, it might not be good for your health, but it's going to taste delicious at least for a while.
He
I
can
think
blaze with blood.
Kraft needs to get feet on the ground in that locker room, whether it be at halftime, instead of making adjustments. Kraft needs to get down there and make it a point. Stand in the middle of the locker room with Belichick by his side. He needs to look at these players and say, guys, you guys aren't playing any better. This piece of shit is gone. Talking about Belichick. Do you guys want to, if you guys want him here coaching you guys, you better step it the fuck up. If not, he's fucking gone. After this game, he's out the door. They fire him after the game. Belichick hasn't done shit for that city.
Another thing.
So-
Well, here's another flip side. What if he's like, Bill, you can keep your job in the next season, but I'm bringing Tommy back. Tommy's got to play Q for me. I didn't want him to leave. You did. And it's time to reunite it. You were great with him. Without him, not so much. Maybe that's a stipulation. What do you think?
I'd say they wait a few more years to bring Brady back.
I mean, he's still
I'd say
going to
they
be
wait
ready.
they wait 3 or 4 more years because they still want to see what they got in Mac Jones for the next few years.
Did you see him on that yacht still looking like a stud? He's ready to go right now.
I did not. What site was that on, Matt?
I don't know. I saw it on what was it? It was probably like The Herd or something like that. They were like, yes, look at Tommy. He's looking hot out there, still in shape for however old he is now. And they were gassed up, and I was like, yeah, who knows? Maybe he could come back and play for him. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah, with that said, I didn't mean to get on a tangent. I didn't really talk about this game at all whatsoever. Buffalo, I don't
Thinking
know.
about Tom Brady without his shirt on now.
Well, you never know. I don't know what to make of Buffalo right now. I think this game could go either way for them offensively. I could see Belichick dialing up something good on D and, making that offense struggle. Because, I mean, look, they've been struggling, right? Jacksonville made them look bad. The New York Giants made them look bad. They almost lost that game. So I could see that happening possibly. But their saving grace is definitely going to be Mac Jones. Terrible. I don't know. Maybe that's why Belichick's keeping him in. It's like, it's Mac's fault. You know what I mean? But with that said, I'll take Buffalo 26-14.
Another sweep, and I think we'll have another one here, but time will tell because the Raiders are going to be in Chicago, and the Bears are a 3-point underdog at home. The over-under 37.5. Both of these teams most likely playing with backups at the quarterback position. So, is it Brian Hoyer versus is it Pageant or Tagent? I can't even remember his name for the Bears. Yeah.
He's halftime. Halftime show.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Look, this is obviously a turd bowl. One exclusively for Bears and Raiders fans, if that. I think even a Bears fan can probably find something better to do Sunday. But, Matt, I'll hand it off to you. The Raiders are kind of in a unique spot. They're on a win streak. Will they get it to 3?
I mean, the Raiders they're looking like a scrappy-ish team. I mean, most of these teams that they've beaten aren't that impressive, but they're getting the job done nonetheless, and that's more than we can say for the Broncos or the Chargers at the moment. Things could change, but right now they're winning some games, and I think they're going to continue to do so with Hoyer at the helm. He's a good backup, man. He knows his role. He shuts his mouth and he gets the job done. And he's going to get it done on Sunday as well. 27-16, the Raiders. And I think that'd be the case even if Fields plays.
Now, I If Fields plays, I would go a different route with my pick. Seeing how with the dislocated thumb, how he's probably not going to be out there, I'm going to take Hoyer and the Raiders here. It's going to be Soldier Field. It's not an easy place to win at by no means, but I think they get the run game going. And to be 100% honest with you, I'm not sure if Hoyer under center is going to hurt this team any worse than Garoppolo under center. Hoyer's been around the best. He's been around some of the best coaches he's been around McDaniel too. In New England. Brady, and he's been around Garoppolo, I would assume, being a backup in New England at some point. Mm-hmm. But give me Vegas, 27-21.
That's the thing about Garoppolo. Guys, I looked. He had 8 interceptions through 5.
He was leading the league. I mean, an interception.
It's insane, and not something don't get me wrong, Jimmy's known for putting the ball in harm's way. He's thrown Davante Adams more hospital balls than Adams has saw in his entire career up to this point. But that in mind, yeah, and I'm not a Brian Hoyer fan. I think he's trash at this point in his career. But I don't think the drop-off from Garoppolo to him, I think they're both trash. I don't think there's anything there. Do I think the Raiders' Cinderella story is for long? Hell no. But it is another week long. They're going to beat the Bears 21-14. Max Crosby continues to lead the charge for the silver and black. All right.
Crosby's a baller. You can't slice any other way than that. That guy's a beast.
Yeah. Yeah, he's I tell you what now. Okay, the Colts, Gardner Minshew, coming off of a really rough performance in Jacksonville, but he's at home now in the Dome against the Browns. And Cleveland is only a 2-point favorite. The over-under 39. We do not know the status of Deshaun Watson. My thought would be he's got to be close. Maybe he's over that 49ers flu that tends to go around. But either way, let's just, take the exercise as you might see it. And Matt, I'll let you start us off. Browns, that defense, do they continue their dominance?
Brian, let me ask you, quarterback prognosis. What's the situation with Anthony Richardson?
Out for season.
I'm just kidding. That was a callback to the last episode. That's a bummer for the Colts, but I wonder if, not to get off topic here, that's not a good look, right? I mean, I was pretty hyped on Richardson, but he gets hurt literally every ball game, and now he's out for the season. I'd be a little nervous with that pick right now. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that you want to elaborate on, but
it sucks. I think it sucks because you worry about the long term, but it's like now the kid misses out on an entire rookie year worth of reps, learning, development. He's basically a rookie again next year, and as soon as the ball's kicked off, you're going to be waiting for the shoe to drop, which is his next injury. And I got to tell you guys, I know it would be risky, they probably won't do it, but if the Colts find themselves in a spot where they can get a more sure thing at quarterback, they may ought to think about it, because you can't tie your hands like this next year too. You can't give him the entire keys. You need to leave a spare somewhere in somebody else's hands. Maybe it's
Cousins.
I don't know. Well, Cousins is a surefire starter, though. So if you do that, then Richardson's your backup. I don't know what the answer is.
It might not hurt him being a backup.
It's true.
I know Minshew had a terrible game on Sunday, but it's not a bad path to go. For this season, I think he's going to hold the team up, and they could finish strong, and who knows, maybe make a run towards the postseason. Because that division, Jacksonville's looking better, but let's be real, it's still up for grabs. And I think he plays better this Sunday. It's going to be a good game. Do you guys have any idea what the Deshaun thing is? You mentioned 49er flu. Was he just bailing on that, or do we have some weird internal thing going on again?
I think he probably is actually hurt. It's probably a situation where he's just not willing to play unless he feels 100%, because he knows people are already judging his play. Why play hurt? Make yourself look even worse. That's my genuine thought. I was joking that, he might want to avoid playing the 49ers.
Well, then you have to ask this. Do you think he would have felt better had he been able to get a massage?
Oh, I think he got a massage.
With a happy ending.
Yeah, that might have been what he was doing during the game. I didn't see any
Exactly.
sideline shots.
That's a good point. Then and there, also at the end of the ball game, Cleveland's looking solid though, guys. That defense is tough. I like Indy too, but with that said, I'm going to lean in the direction of the Browns. I think regardless who's playing quarterback, honestly, I got them winning 23-21.
Yeah, I'm there with you. As far as, Gardner Minshew mania, I don't think he's the answer long term. I think Minshew is a great quarterback to have in your arsenal, to maybe get you through a 2, maybe 3 game stretch. I think a 3 game stretch, he might be able to win you 2 ball games, maybe, depending on who you're playing. I don't think he's the long term answer. If Indy does come out and win this game somehow, I don't think they will because of how tough Cleveland's defense is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But if they were to, I definitely think that they try bringing in another quarterback. But give me Cleveland in this game, 26-23. I think I think Indy struggles to run the ball, and when it comes to passing, I don't think Minshew's able to put up the numbers it's going to take to defeat Cleveland.
Likewise, I have the Browns winning 24-9. The defense is on a run, and it's not slowing down yet. I don't know what's going to slow it down, but it ain't going to be the Colts. Okay? Colts are coming down to earth. Okay, we got a big matchup in L.A. where Bass Daddy Steelers visit McVay's Rams. And the Rams are a 3-point favorite right now. The over-under 43.5. Both of these teams, if the season ended today, would be in the playoffs. We'll see how it all shakes out. As usual, though, well, I'm going to let Bass Daddy start us off. I think this is a tough spot, Bass Daddy, but I also know the Steelers, they show up and play to their competition usually. Who do you like?
Truthfully, I like the Rams because I think that they're more well coached. I think McVay's got them ready to play. They're doing things on offense with people that we've never heard their fucking names before. And defensively, they have Aaron Donald. I really can't name another defensive star off their roster off the top of my head. I don't watch them. I don't watch them all the time, but I just, will there be just as many Steeler fans in attendance as Rams fans? You bet your ass there will be. It'll be a home game for the Steelers. But I'm not picking against the Steelers. We're getting Deontay Johnson back this week. Getting Pat Freiermuth back this week. Team's fresh off a bye. They've had their head down. They've been grinding. I think they come out maybe and win a close one, 24-21.
Matt, I'll go ahead. I think this game is almost a guaranteed battle down to the end. Don't care really who wins or how it looks. McVay and Tomlin, they're gonna go at it. Asses will be ate, and in this particular case, Deontay Johnson, that is a nice help to an offense that needs a little bit of a boost. But I don't know. It's really tough. Ultimately, I like the Rams in this spot at SoFi. It seems like they play some of their best ball there for whatever reason, even though they will be virtually on the road when you look at the crowd. So I do have the Rams winning it 24-17. But again, if there's one game you can guarantee is going to be one score, I think this is probably the one.
Very interesting points there, gentlemen. You guys bring up Deontay Johnson. That is definitely a nice addition to have back. The only question is, how's he going to get the ball? They do a lot of end arounds with him, things of that nature. That's the only question. Love a good Pittsburgh-LA matchup. I think I'm going to shock you guys. I think Pittsburgh gets the win here. Watt makes one more play and gets the job done. I can't believe I'm saying it because this team has not impressed me yet. They did get that Browns win you mentioned earlier, Bass Daddy. But still, not quite impressed. I got Pittsburgh 19-16. I don't know why, just feeling it.
You've sent him into a trance.
Holy fuck!
Hey, that's how you know this analysis is always legitimate. I'm just
I
telling you.
thought
what it
Matt
is.
was completely brain dead.
Yeah, it only took you 7 weeks, I think, to pick Pittsburgh to win a game.
Mm,
Hey, they are
I
coming
think I
off a
picked them to win
bye.
one more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I picked them to win one other game. I don't know that I'll pick them to win many more than this. Just, I'm not that inspired by the Rams. And you know what? Maybe
We're sitting at the
Pittsburgh.
top of the division right now.
Yeah, I know. But I just, I don't know. I don't know how
See, that's-
long. What are you saying, Brian?
Oh, that's surprising to me that you said you're not feeling much on the Rams. I look at that team in the standings and that battle for the 7th seed. I think they're a cut above every other team below them. Like, I trust them way more than I do Washington or New Orleans or Atlanta. I think they're clearly in that 7th spot for my money. They're healthy.
What comes down to that Rams team is, in my opinion, is the health of Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
He's had health issues. He goes down here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
He goes down this week from TJ Watt hammering his asshole. Without him, the team is nothing.
Right.
I'm surprised at what they're doing this year with the team that they have.
Right.
And to jump back in that conversation, Brian, you talking about that 7 seed. I kind of like Washington better out of that group. But yeah, beyond that, I would take the Rams all day. And not to get off topic here as well, what's up with why is TJ Watt the only player in the league allowed to punch people, though? What is up with that?
He got fined.
He's the only guy I always see just full on goes Conor McGregor on somebody at any given moment.
Cost him $16,000. Yeah, punched him right in the chin trying to get that ball. He's a ball hawk.
I don't think he's trying to punch the ball. He's just like, let me just see if I can punch this guy in the helmet.
I mean, it only cost him $16,000. Fuck it.
I mean, chump change for the fella, no doubt. But I'm like, what on earth, man?
Yeah,
gonna break his hand doing that's the only problem.
If I was rich, I would do a lot more for a lot less.
Yeah, I've heard you do that now.
Seattle hosting the Cardinals. The Seahawks a 7.5 point favorite. The over under 44.5. I dipped my toe in quite a bit on that Cincinnati and Hawks game. And how many times did Geno Smith and that offense have the ball late in Cincinnati territory and could not close the deal? I was getting so mad because he would sit there and hold the ball. It's like, dude, I know you want a guy open, but your line can't. They're not holding up. And he just kept taking disastrous sacks, was getting beat like a piñata. He's lucky he walked off the field. But they get a break this week because they're not facing a defense on the level of the Bengals quite. Now, it is a division game, so don't count Arizona, completely out. But they are reeling. They've started to kind of look like the team we thought they were going to be, getting rolled 2 weeks in a row. I've got Seattle winning 30-24, so the Cardinals do cover in my scenario, but they're definitely not going to win. Those receivers for the Seahawks just a little too much.
I'll follow you up here. Seattle coming home, CenturyLink Field. It's always loud, chaotic, electric. This Arizona team, after losing James Conner, is really I didn't really know how much he meant to this team until I've seen them get their assholes pounded without him. And I'm sure that, they're probably in the locker room. The coach is probably trying to get him amped up. And he's like, did you ride your bike to the game today? Feel that in your gut? Everybody's just kind of sitting there, kind of afraid, But I think Seattle, regardless of it being a division game, Seattle pulls out their dicks, and I mean they beat the fuck out of Arizona with it. 30-16.
Wow, I love it. Yeah, no, Arizona, I think they're a scrappy team at times. I don't know that they want to win a lot of times, and I don't know that they're going to want to win this game either. Brian, you mentioned Geno Smith's play in Cincinnati. I'm just going to say it. The guy's not that good. He's okay, right? He's just okay at best. That game was there for the taking multiple times. Could not get it done when it counted, and I think that's the mark of a good quarterback, and he just didn't have it. With that said, I'm going to take Seattle to get this W 26-20. Metcalf's probably going to get a touchdown. The classic Seattle storyline.
Okay, we've got Green Bay going to Denver. The Broncos just a 1-point dog at home. Denver, look, I mean 1-5, and all of a sudden you lose that fifth game, and there's videos circulating about Sean Payton last fall talking to Colin Cowherd saying Caleb Williams is going to be the guy who institutes an NFL draft lottery because there's going to be somebody who tanks for him. And so now sitting here 1-5, people are starting to wonder. And it's going to be real interesting if we get a couple weeks down the road and they sit Russell Wilson down in order for him to prevent an injury, because if he's hurt, they're not going to be able to release him next offseason in any sort of fiscally responsible way. But getting back on track here, the Packers are coming in off their bye week. They're only 2-3 right now. Monday night against the Raiders, that was tough. Get right spot, though. Denver's a get right spot for anybody. It's not going to be pretty because I don't think the Packers are very good. I think it's starting to prove itself out. And Love, the completion percentage, what is it, like 50, 54 tops? He's struggling to just execute the offense. But if Aaron Jones, which I would hope to God he's going to be back by now, but if he's not, this offense is going to continue to struggle. I'm going to bet that he is. I'm going to bet that Sean Payton continues to find subtle little ways to handicap his team and improve his draft pick for next offseason. Packers 21, Denver 17. These two teams, again, not very good, not playoff teams, but they got to play the game.
I think that I see where you're coming from. You did take Green Bay. This game being in Denver, I don't think Sean Payton is rolling over because I think Sean Payton's fighting for his job.
Whoa.
Really?
If he's not fighting for this job, he's fighting for a job elsewhere.
Wow. Bold.
Obviously, I think Russell Wilson's washed up. I said it before the season started. I think he's washed up. I said it last year. So, but I don't see Denver rolling over. I don't see them obviously coming anywhere near the playoffs, but I expect them to win this game. I'm not impressed with Jordan Love. I see on film, he's struggling throwing the ball deep. The offensive line issues they've been having. I'm not saying that Denver has a tremendous defensive front, but I could see, I don't know. Denver played Kansas City pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in Kansas City, and I don't think it surprised. I know it didn't surprise Brian probably as much with his score prediction last week. I think you kind of expected it, with it being a divisional primetime matchup. It surprised the shit out of me. I expected Kansas City to drop over 30 points on Denver coming back at home. I think this is a get-right game for Denver. After this week, I still don't think they've gotten right. I still think they fucking suck. But I think this is a game that'll get their fans going like, yeah, Broncos country, let's fucking ride. I think this will be the game that does that. Denver wins this game 27-18. And if you have a house that needs to be cleaned, if you have a yard that needs to be mowed, if you need to sweep your garage, instead of watching this game, go fucking do that, because I really don't expect it to be very exciting.
You guys bring up a storyline that I never thought about before now, and it makes Denver a little bit interesting. Think about it, Brian. So if you're correct in that Sean Payton may want to tank their season in order to get Caleb Williams, right? Which, who could blame him for doing that? On the opposite end of that is Russell Wilson looking to tank Sean Payton's plan, just to be Russell. Like, why not me? Get a win here, a win there, and, kind of mess up that plan. I think that'd be interesting. They don't like each other already, but maybe that's where the storyline is, between each other on the field. So maybe that's something why Russ has to get benched, because they got to bring in this. Who's their backup right now?
Stidham. Jarrett Stidham.
Stidham. Yeah, I thought so, but I was like, man, is that right? Maybe they can convince Stidham to go along with it. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have a choice. With that said, I could really see this game going either way based on your guys' arguments. I think I'm still going to take Green Bay, though, because I feel like they have more to play for in a victory. I'll take them 26-19. Yeah.
Yeah, those are all fair assessments. It's a tough spot for Russell last week because he's on the national stage and he plays by far his worst game of the year. But if you look at the stats, and I know stats don't tell the whole story, but he was kind of having an okay year. He was at least taking care of the ball. But now that game from last Thursday, it's kind of an imprint on our minds, and we know he's going to be the scapegoat for whatever this season turns into the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Okay, staying on the AFC West, Herbert's Chargers, coming off of a tough, emotional Monday night loss, are now going on the road to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. Kansas City is a 5.5-point favorite. The over-under is 48.5. And once again, not all that dissimilar to last week. I am picking Kansas City to win the ball game, but I do not think they're going to cover in this spot. And look, I think it's pretty simple. I mean, the Chargers have always been tough on the Chiefs, and I know the Chargers this year don't really look – they really don't even look as good as they were a year ago, but you could say the same thing about the Chiefs right now, and their offense is still trying to kind of figure out the right pieces to have on the field and how to use them, and it's October. So it'll be one of those games where once again you'll walk out of it saying, man, something's amiss. They're not clicking, but they're still going to win, the Chiefs that is, and that'll move them to 6-1, and they'll just keep buying time to hopefully figure out exactly what they need to do to be at their best at the end of the year. But Chiefs 24, Chargers 20, and it's going to be a stressful one, I think, for both parties.
Yeah, I mean, I echo a lot of what you said there, Brian. Chargers not looking great. Kansas City's not looking great on offense. I think they will get that figured out. The big deciding factor for me in the score of this ball game is the Chiefs' defense. They're playing, honestly, pretty well. Pretty good unit. One of the best in the league right now for my money, and I think they're going to continue to do so. I think this game, it'll be fun. The Chargers tend to get up for the Chiefs. We know that for whatever reason every year. They play them twice, every time. So, yeah. But what I have going on here, 26-17, Kansas City gets the victory, largely due to the defense. The offense is starting to look a little bit better, but not quite there yet, 100%.
You guys make some valid points. Seems like, to me, every damn week Kansas City's playing a home game, but I don't get it. But this one was a tough one for me. I absolutely hate picking against the Chiefs. I have one other time this year, and it was week 1. If the Steelers aren't playing, I'm a Chiefs fan. I don't know if I'm a Chiefs fan. I pull for the Chiefs. I like to see them do good, okay? And right now, the Chiefs scare me. Scaring me in a way offensively. I feel like they have been struggling, and it's not something – I'm not a Chiefs fan. I don't watch them like you guys do. But I don't feel like – I haven't seen them struggle like this since I've seen Mahomes start at quarterback. I'm not necessarily – struggle is in like – obviously they're not going to be as good. When Tyreek left, that deep threat I felt like left as well. I'm not seeing a whole bunch of bombs downfield now. And I'm not saying that the Chiefs need that. I'm just saying if they do need it.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing I think Patrick Mahomes, honestly, he's going to be he's going to be the GOAT, in my opinion. If he stays healthy, stays with Andy Reid, I think he'll surpass Tom Brady and everything. But right now, with this offense, I'm worried. I think their defense is good enough to keep them in games. But I feel like if you somehow have a linebacker or you somehow can keep somebody manned up on Kelsey over the middle and take away a lot of that stuff, I think Kansas City has a hard time. I don't know a team that'll be able to do that, but maybe Fred Warner and the 49ers defense. I don't really know. All I'm saying is I'm worried about their offense. I'd probably still pick them to go to the Super Bowl today from the AFC because when it starts getting better later in the year, I feel like they start getting better as a unit, but I'm picking against them this week. I think it'll be a great game. I just think, you got dipshit over there and Los Angeles, making those ballsy moves, ballsy play calls, and shit. And I think he makes maybe one or two in this game, maybe going for it on fourth down a time or two that might put the Chargers in a better position to win, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City doesn't need this win. Chargers do. Chargers are hungry. They need this. It's the NFL. Anything can happen. So I'm going with the Chargers. Upset of the week, 28-24. I think it's a great game, but that's just where I'm at.
Yeah, Bester, you didn't say anything crazy at all, and the Chargers losing or winning this game would not surprise me at all. And you're right, like they kind of are backed into a corner right now, where if they fall to 2-4, no, they're not done, but it's going to get hairy quick. The AFC's pretty loaded, and in those playoff spots, you're going to probably have to win 10 games to get in, at least. So I don't think there's anything. As far as the offense goes, it's definitely a work in progress. The only time I've seen them look worse was 2 years ago. There was a stretch there early mid-season when the team was like 3-4, and their offense, it was bad. They were struggling to put up 20 a game. This has been as bad as it's been since that. But you just see where it goes. I think that the good thing is talent's not the problem. They have talent in the room, but they've got guys who are young and they need the reps. They need to get their chemistry down. So I think it's something you'll see it get better and better as the year goes, as long as Kelsey's still there, because he's kind of the one that makes it all go. But for right now, there's no doubt. I mean, it's still a work in progress, and I'm not saying it's going to all be fixed Sunday. I don't think it is.
Well, with the Chiefs, I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs, probably hosting, the AFC Championship game for a while now. If they're not hosting it, they're for damn sure going to be in it. But, Kansas City, how many regular season games? 17?
Yeah.
Right? I don't see Kansas City going 16-1 this year, regular season. I just don't. See, I think that this is one of those games where, they might lose by a field goal. Divisional matchup against a young quarterback that can throw on the run, evade the pocket. But if Kansas City, if they are going to be on track to get right offensively, this week might be the week. I mean, I know you got the 2-star pass rushers, Derwin, but their defense hasn't been great either. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you make good points, Best. If you're gonna take a shot, you got to take a shot, man. And I can't fault you for that, man. So
I will be rooting for the Chiefs.
There we go.
Hey, and if I'm not mistaken, I read today the Chargers right now are dead last in passing yards per game allowed, which just shocked me because I've always kind of known their passing defense to be. Well, that's part of the reason they've played Kansas City so tough is because they can always keep the passing game within reason. But this year so far, it's almost like a new. We'll see. I don't know. It might look totally different, but
I don't know. Without Mike Williams offensively, Palmer's filling in pretty good, which I thought he would to begin with. But getting Eckler back as well, I mean, it's going to be it should be a shootout.
And that's one thing I hadn't even thought about, really. Mike Williams has been a Kansas City killer for the last few years. It seems like every game he's scoring a touchdown. He's making big plays. Maybe that helps him. Keenan Allen seems to have found the fountain of youth a little bit so far this year, though. I think he'll get a lot of McDuffie in coverage, which should at least even things out a little bit, but we'll see. Big game. I think Romo and Nance will be on the call, so bear with us on that.
Oh, wow.
Here we go, Jim.
Here we go.
I think they should go for 2 here, Jim. I think some teams would.
You got to do it.
Yeah, there's going to be a run here, Jim. Yep, right here to the right. See, you just checked out of that run. Yep. Okay, here. See that around scrimmage? Yep.
He's going to do it.
Oh,
hey, but whatever happens to that game, the best game of the week entering week 7 is on Sunday night. The Miami Dolphins going to Philadelphia what's sure to be a ruckus environment. Philly's got the the NLCS going on for their Phillies, and the Eagles just lost their first game, and that crowd's going to be crazy, bringing Tua, Tyreek, and the boys in. The Eagles are a 2-point favorite. The over-under, 52. Matt, who do you see winning this one?
Oh, this one is tough, man. I got a coin flip going either way with the scores. Miami's still looking good offensively. They're still putting up points. Philly, like you said, they dropped their first game. I think that's going to refocus them a bit. They're coming ready to play. Going to be at the Link on Sunday night. Like you said, that crowd's going to be absolute mayhem. Maybe it's dollar dog night. I don't know. If it isn't, maybe it should be. I don't know if they do that in football. But if you guys know anything about Philly, they definitely should, and they're going to win that game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. At the end of the day, I got Philly winning this game because I think Tua maybe makes a mistake late, and they get the W, 30-29, Philadelphia.
Yeah, I've got Philly as well. I think this is a spot where that crowd, you get them in prime time at home, maniacs. They're ready because the Dolphins team, they don't visit Philadelphia very often. It's probably every 8 years, basically. So they're going to welcome them in with some very cold arms. Neither one of these defenses are playing, I would say, at the level they expected to coming into the year. Both secondaries vulnerable. But here's the kicker for me. And we saw it week 1 when the Chargers and Dolphins locked up. And LA just pounded the rock down their fucking throat and ran it for about 250 yards or whatever it was. And then you look at the games after that, and the Chargers have not been doing that to anybody else. They've been pretty normal since Eckler. He was hurt, but Eckler, even last night, they look like a normal running game. The differentiator was that Dolphins defense, who I think they're built to play the pass. A lot of 2 deep coverages, soft boxes. You can't do that against the Eagles. If you do, they'll bludgeon you to death, beat you over your head with whatever they can get their hands on. And so in that way, I think the running game will control the tempo. Jalen will be efficient, but don't think for a second this means that Tyreek's not going to get his and Tua's not going to put up points. He will, but the Eagles win 31-27.
Close.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to get off topic for just 1 second.
Okay.
By all means.
So, the new Sphere in Vegas. You guys know?
Yeah.
Seen the pictures and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. New stadium coming to Nashville. I don't know where the money's coming from to fund all of these things. Which I know the Sphere's not even NFL related. But I really hate the thought of the NFL being rigged. And I've denied it my whole life. But do you have any fucking idea how much money the Vegas made this weekend with all of the busted parlays, people betting their homes, on San Francisco, bending over Cleveland, the Eagles, fucking Zach Wilson's asshole. Seriously, I'm being serious. Even the Miami game, and the Dolphins. What the fuck? Like, I would like to know how many parlays got messed up. I would like to know how many just straight up bets. Where does that money go? It's really hard to believe that happened this week. For me, I'm struggling with it.
It sounds like you took a major loss this weekend.
No, I didn't. No. I'm just saying, it's just fucking crazy.
You're like, my mortgage is gone. We tried.
Yeah, I can't make my house payment. Fuck.
No,
But, reiterate. No, seriously, where does that money go? Somebody's getting rich.
they're putting financial institutions in a tough spot. I mean, you got people who are tying up their HELOC, on bets like this, and then they lose their ass and they can't pay back the bank. And in that sense, the NFL is kind of destroying our economy.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. People are betting their kids. Depending on how well their wives look, maybe their wives. And, maybe they're animals. Bestiality is a thing. All I'm saying is
they're
that
betting their animals. I thought you were saying the gamblers were animals, like they're animals for betting their children.
No, all I'm saying is I just think it's absolutely freaking insane. Just somebody is making a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Anyways, back on topic here. I had to bring it up now. Yeah, getting on this Philadelphia pick, I had to bring it up. It's been chapping my ass.
Sounds like it did.
Anyways,
also, are you gambling on the dark web? Where are you gambling children at?
No. I get into DraftKings every once in a while on like a Sunday night or a Thursday night matchup where you can build your own
little sports
draft your own team with your salary cap. Yeah. I did that for $20 during the Denver and Kansas City game and got fucked in the ass.
Oh, you talking about the fantasy thing? You do the actual fantasy thing?
Yeah, on DraftKings, you just create a lineup and go head to head against somebody for like $10. Yeah, winner gets like 18, I think. Whatever.
It's tough.
But anyways, yeah, back to this Philadelphia-Miami game. I think it's a shootout. I'll reiterate a lot of what Brian said about the rushing attack. DeAndre Swift, and I think Jalen Hurts has a big night rushing as well. They still don't have the defense, like Brian was saying, to contain and limit Tyreek Hill or Waddle. It wouldn't surprise me if both of those guys had over 100 yards receiving. But I'm still going to take Philadelphia at home here. It's got to be tough to win games there in Philly. Those fans are ruthless. They're the most ruthless fans in the NFL. They go beyond the Oakland fans. They are ruthless. They will beat the shit out of you and rape you in the parking lot. Seriously, they will. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Because Philadelphia's fans are that ruthless and perverted, give me Philly in this game. 36-32. It's a high-scoring affair. I kind of wanted to go more low-scoring because I think Philly will dominate the run game, control time of possession. But I think Miami just keeps firing it and scoring. So, 36-32.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster.
Sorry.
No, I liked it. It's
going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Those Dolphins, man, they're quick strike. That's as quick strike of an offense as we've seen in a few years. So, they could lose time of possession and then they could score in a minute, and we'll see. I think that's what will make this one fun.
How cold is it going to be in Philly on Sunday night's a question, too.
It shouldn't be that bad.
You never know. It's getting a little crisp out here.
Probably like
let me check. Hold on.
50s, maybe 50s. Yeah.
Probably.
Philadelphia on Sunday. On Sunday, the high 60 and the low's just 50. So it should be
that's not terrible.
Right around here. Same thing.
Call me your weather.
Anybody who knows.
Yeah.
Okay, that leaves us one more game, the Monday night matchup. The 49ers going to Minnesota, where the Vikings are a 6.5-point dog at home, over under 44. Guys, I wish really badly that Jefferson was playing because I think it kind of proved itself out Sunday with Amari Cooper. You can get this 49ers defense with, down the field shots to a good receiver. They can be a little bit vulnerable because they leave those corners one-on-one a lot, and they just trust the pass rush, which why wouldn't you, right? But if you protect it and you've got a guy down there who can go up and make a play, you can make big-time game-changing plays. Same thing the Seahawks do with DK Metcalf when they play the Niners, and it seems to work out. But Jefferson's out, and I don't think the Vikings can protect Cousins consistently. I know it sounds like Debo and McCaffrey might play. I don't really care if they do or don't. I just think, it'll be a tight game late, maybe third quarter. But at some point, Kirk Cousins is either going to fumble or he's going to throw an interception, and the Niners defense is going to either score or they're going to set up a really easy score deep in Minnesota territory. 49ers 27, Vikings 17. One that maybe looks a little worse than it actually is, but Niners cover.
I'll follow you up here, Brian. Our scores are pretty similar. Regardless if Justin Jefferson is playing, I still would have went away from Minnesota kind of like what you were saying earlier. I kind of forgot what game it was. You mentioned something earlier about maybe it working out for the offense because a receiver was out as far as forcing the ball to them.
Oh yeah, taking Diggs away. New England taking Diggs
Okay,
away.
yeah. I think that Jefferson not playing in this game could benefit Cousins in a similar way. I'm not saying that if he looks elsewhere, there's going to be people open, but he really tries to force the ball to Jefferson. But a star talent like that, I guess you need to force him the ball. You need to feed him, But Kirk Cousins is going to get hurt in this game. I'm going to call it right now. I hope he doesn't because I like the guy that he is. But don't be surprised if they have to bring the stretcher out here. This ain't going to be like Buffalo. I'm getting sick and tired of it. Was it Damian Harris, the running back, where they had to bring a fucking ambulance on the field that had the DeMar on the window? Buffalo needs to chill it the fuck out with all the ambulance shit and trying to scare the fans. Okay? Put them on a fucking stretcher, get them off the field, whatever. Kirk Cousins will be on a stretcher at some point in this game, I think. If he's not on a stretcher, seriously, I'm not kidding. I hope he's not, because like I said, I like the guy he is, but if Kirk Cousins doesn't leave on a stretcher, he will be carted off this field. Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, they are going to eat his fucking lunch. And I seriously, I hate it for the guy because I like him, but he will get fucked this Monday night. San Francisco still doesn't run away with it, but after Kirk Cousins gets sat on his ass and can't get up, San Francisco will win this game 26-16.
Fast Eddie, I know you don't mean it this way, but you pitched that as if it's an ambulance match. And it's like the first team to send somebody out on an ambulance is going to win. And it sounds like it's going to be the Niners who put Cousins.
Yeah, and it's a primetime game, which, so was DeMar Hamlin. Yeah, they got to make a scene with the ambulance. They need to do away with that shit. Carry him off in a stretcher. Cart him off the field. Stop bringing an ambulance. They just brought the ambulance on the field in Buffalo to show Hamlin's number 14, whatever the fuck number he is, on the windows of the. Just grow up. They're just trying to scare people now. It's football. You're gonna get hit. Fucking tape it the fuck up and walk off the field, man.
Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't. That kind of leaves me in a weird spot there. Great take. So I don't know. Interesting. Also, speaking of which, you can definitely tell Bass Daddy's in the midst of watching quarterback, no doubt, because you're like, Kirk's a great guy. He's getting hit a lot because that's Kirk, man. He wins you over on that show. You're like, yeah, Kirk. He's not so bad. Maybe he can get it done, but he can't. He can't. He is a very nice guy, but he's just not the guy. You know what I mean? You're right, Bass Daddy. He's going to take a lot of hits. He's going to take some punishment, and it's a primetime game. Kirk notoriously doesn't do that well in these situations. Jefferson's out. The Niners coming off that loss. They're ready to right the ship and show the world why they're quote unquote the best team in the league to so many. I got the Niners winning this ball game 29-20.
Kirk Cousins' trainers, the one that go in and rub his feet and shit at his house. I feel like after this game, it's kind of like you got a plate of food, like a full plate, like Thanksgiving dinner. And I've got an oversized plate that I use, so I can, instead of going back for 2 plates, I got a plate big enough for like 3 fucking helpings. But it's like I make that plate with 3 fucking helpings on it, and I'm trying to carry. I'm carrying it with one hand through the kitchen, and I drop it, and all that food goes all over the kitchen floor. The plate shatters into like 500 pieces. Okay, I feel like that's what these trainers are going to see when they go to rub Kirk Cousins' feet and when they go to adjust him after this game, because it's going to be like trying to put that plate back together with Elmer's glue and put all that food back on it and trying to eat it after. I just feel like that's what it's going to. Kirk Cousins will be lucky he's going to get fucked up.
That may be the weirdest metaphor I've ever heard in my life, but I like
They're
it.
going to be trying. They're going to have to try to piece this son of a bitch back together. He's going to be looking like a fucking mummy next week.
Now you've just got.
Is that based on a true story?
About what?
Did you spill a 3 helping size plate on Thanksgiving one time?
No, I didn't.
That felt like that came from the heart. Like I was like,
No,
man,
the
that
plate.
happened.
The plate is legit though. And
Childhood
the serving
try.
size, yeah, that's legit. I've never dropped that shit. I carry that shit with both hands.
Can you maybe like
You better
send me
be
a
careful.
link to get that? I'd like that plate. I just want that
Yes.
plate.
I get it for you.
All right. Well, that will do it. Week 7 preview in the books. We thank you if you've made it this far. Make sure to like and subscribe on all channels: YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify if you choose it, Instagram, TikTok, and so forth. Until next week, we are signing off. Enjoy football Sunday and Thursday, I guess. Maybe Monday. Just have a little bit of that, a little bit of this.
You heard it here first, though, guys. Kirk Cousins' season, maybe career ends this Monday night. Tune in.
Save it.